You know, it's funny. I talked to Steve a little bit last week about winning a major. It's the one thing he hasn't done, and he's not putting a lot of pressure on himself. I mean, as far down as he was in terms of losing his card and not sure if he's ever going to get it back, to have come back the way he did, making sports history, in my opinion, by being voted Comeback Player of the Year 2 years in a row. He's happy with what he's achieved, with the number of wins he's had, winning at Memorial and Deutsche Bank and the Barclays and all these really significant tournaments, that this would really be icing on the cake for him. When you're talking about putting, any conversation starts with Steve Stricker. He was beautiful today. He steps up to any length of a putt. I don't care if it's 25 feet or 10 feet or even 40 feet, and he thinks he can make it. And so when you get that kind of confidence going, and he's straight enough, and frankly he's long enough, but he keeps it in the fairway, and he's going to keep it on the green, and he's going to keep himself in every hole. He's going to do something like that. For 5 holes, he looked like a 14-time major champion, and for 13 holes, he almost looked like a 14 handicap. It's a little bit harsh. And frankly, you talk about a Tiger collapse. I've seen some Tiger collapses, and you saw it at Muirfield. Now that was mostly weather-driven back in 2002. You saw it at Quail Hollow last year, but he was still trying to come back from things, personal life, and the time off he had. I saw it at Firestone last year, where he just looked awful. This didn't look utterly pathetic. He makes the turn at 2 over, which is not awful. Certainly not on this golf course, and you just sense that when he missed the fairway, and he still had decent looks. He had gaps through the trees and things like that, but you just had a sense that he was expecting things to not go so well. For the fan, and for us too, when you go out and watch him, if you forget for a minute who he is and what he's done, he looks like just about everyone else in the field. On this day, he actually looked worse than a lot of the players in the field, but he's not doing anything special, and that's the one thing that we haven't seen yet.